Connecticut's Speaker of the House is running for Congress. Donovan is here to talk about the fight he'd like to wage in Washington. Also, Connecticut kids have a new schools chief. We'll meet Stephen Pryor today and hear his ideas for improving Connecticut classrooms. And Fox Connecticut is looking at different perspectives in the death penalty debate. Former Governor John Rowland weighs in. Welcome to The Real Story. I'm Lori Perez. Our first guest is one of the most powerful members of the Connecticut legislature. Speaker of the House Donovan was first elected to the State House 19 years ago and became Speaker in 2009. Now he'd like to be Connecticut's U.S. Congressman for the 5th District. Thanks, Chris, for being here.
Thanks, Lori.
Also, Connecticut News Junkies, Christine Stuart is here to join in on the conversation. Christine, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'll let you kick off the conversation.
So you have 3 Democratic opponents. You have, I can't even, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you have 5 Republican opponents. What makes you think that you're the best person for this job?
Well, first of all, it's an open seat, and everybody's interested in doing what's best for our country. And I've been working as a legislator, as a community worker for years to involve people in politics, have government work for people. So when I looked out in Washington, and I see what's going on, people are worried about jobs, people are worried about Social Security, people are worried about Medicare. That's what I do. I fight for families. So I see an opportunity, I see a real need, and I feel a responsibility to go down and fight for people. I'm the Speaker of the House. I've negotiated budgets. I fought for people in the state, have had many successes. And I'm going to go down and fight for people.
You were, before the show, listing off some of the things that you think that Connecticut has had great accomplishment in. I mean, can you single out one thing that you think you were a critical part of and think that will translate to D.C.?
Well, one of them, a lot of different things. We worked on raising the minimum wage and protecting seniors' health care. But one thing I think which is particular to Connecticut is we passed a public financing bill for people running for office. Mm-hmm. So the average person can run for office and win. And we're unique in very many states. And I played a major role in that, and I think it's really made our laws much better.
Mm-hmm. Christine?
What about recently one of your opponents called you out for being a member of the redistricting committee, which is going to redraw the lines for all of Connecticut's congressional, House, and right. Senate districts. Do you believe that there's any sort of conflict of interest being on that committee?
Well, first of all, the redistricting committee and our Constitution gives the Speaker responsibilities in redistricting. That's what our Constitution does, and I'm fulfilling the Constitution as the Speaker. That's what I didn't write the Constitution; other people did it, but I'm fulfilling that. And my colleagues, or the Republican colleagues who sit on it as well, they're running for office as well, and they said, well, if Chris leaves, then we'd have to leave too, and who would be there to do it? But that's not the real issue. The real issues are dealing with getting jobs for people and looking after our families. That's what I'm working on.
Do you have any regrets about the way that the budget was passed now? I mean, because I know that there was a recent poll, and the governor was not faring very well in that poll. And 36% of voters thought he was doing a good job. I mean, do you have regrets about it?
Well, we had to deal with a problem. We weren't getting money from the federal government. House Republicans took over, and they stopped funds coming to our state. We had to find the money. If the Democrats had won in 2010, we probably wouldn't have had to deal with such a big deficit. But we all had to pitch in. It was a struggle. Nobody wants to pitch in. But I think as people looked through the taxes, they realized unless they were earning $100,000, they weren't really paying much more in taxes. And we made sure those who made the wealthy paid a little bit more, which is good. And the state employees, even though it was a struggle for them to make an agreement to give back, they did. And I'm grateful to them. They made some sacrifices. And it's balanced our budget. Now our schools are open. Our seniors are getting the medication they need. The mentally ill are getting the care they need. We're in okay shape right now, and now we're looking to create jobs. That's why we're having a special session on jobs. You would be facing issues that are not dissimilar if you were right. to be elected to Congress. I mean, are there things that you think that our current congressional delegation is not doing in regards to the national budget that you might
push to do differently?
Well, I bring a different experiences. I've worked well with my colleagues. I served with Joe Courtney, John Larson, and Chris Murphy, and I know the others as well, and actually Dick Blumenthal. He was a senator when I was here. And I work with Rosa and Jim Hines as well. I think I bring kind of an activism to the role. So when I was fighting Governor Rell in the budget, I thought her cuts were too bad for seniors and daycare kids. I went to the senior centers and kind of said, hey, this is what we're talking about. Have that discussion with the public. They're talking about cutting dental care for seniors, cutting bus service for seniors, and have that conversation so people don't just see it as Democrats versus Republicans. They say, this is something that Chris is bringing to our attention. I want seniors to get dental care. I want children to have daycare. I want libraries to be open for people. So I think that's what I bring, and try to organize and work with my colleagues to back our president on the things that I think are important.
Interesting.
The 5th District is considered kind of a swing district in Connecticut, and so how is somebody as liberal as you, how can you win over the voters in those 41 towns?
Well, you know, I've traveled all throughout the 5th CD. I'm very familiar with Route 84 and Route 8 and all those towns out there, and the people are very friendly. And what I find is the issues that I've worked on are very popular with the public. And every poll I've seen on the issues I've worked with, they support raising the minimum wage. They support taking care of our senior citizens. They support paid sick leave. So even though people call these issues liberal, to me they're people issues, looking after families. I mean, families are struggling right now. They're looking for jobs. I want good jobs for people. I want health care for people. I'm working with small businesses right now. I've set up a small business group to figure out ways that they can have affordable health care. So, you know, you could put labels on things, but the issues that I've worked with, whether you're in Meriden or Salisbury, people support these issues. And I think they're looking for someone to rally for them in Washington, and that's what I hope to bring.
How much success, or what do you think will get accomplished in the special session on jobs?
Well, we're very optimistic. We're looking at ways, I think, particularly to help small business and the unemployed. They're kind of like the two biggest groups. And small businesses are struggling. We're looking to make things easier for them to work their way through state bureaucracy. We're looking to give them incentives to hire people. And we're also looking to help unemployed by saying to small business, if you hire this person, we'll give you a little bit of an incentive to do that. We'll give you a tax break. We'll give you a grant. And so they're the two big groups we're working on. And then I think education and training, we need to work on that towards the future and say that there are certain businesses have come to us and said, you know, if you have a few more trained workers in this specific field, we have a job waiting for them. And for whatever reason, we don't have the training for them, but we can develop it. So let's develop that training. Let's get those people, get those jobs.
Right. We only have about 30 seconds left, so.
How do you balance your job as Speaker of the House and somebody who is running for Congress when there's the potential for conflicts of interest?
No, it's never conflicts of interest, Christine. I mean, look, the President of the United States, guess what he's running for? He's running for President of the United States, right? So if the President of the United States can be president, and I think he's doing a fine job, and run for president, I, as Speaker of the House, certainly can run for Congress. And the issues I care about, helping people, are the same issues I'll be working on as congressman as well.
All right. Chris Donovan, we appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Christine Stewart, thanks also. Coming up next, Stephen Pryor is Connecticut's new Education Commissioner. We're going to talk to him about how he sees the state of Connecticut's schools. Very nice.